first thing we're gonna do is cut these zip ties down here. To get to these screws. Now we're gonna undo all the bolts here. Alright, so now with those screws out of the way, we open up the fuse box. We have to undo these two bolts holding in the modules in behind the fuse box. So now we're going to undo them. Making sure to undo both. In the back here, we take off both of these modules, but we only want to work with the bottom. So next we have to take off the casing behind. Just a simple, use a slot screwdriver, small slot screwdriver, take the casing off, and then very carefully we have to take off these blue locks on both sides, starting at the edge here and then working your way carefully until they come out. So now you are free to remove these wires. So using the same small slot screwdriver, we want to insert it into the top of the pin to undo the lock of the actual wire. So doing this will allow you to pull it out, not too much effort. Now that we have this wire free. So you're going to want to take the lock of the pin and make sure it's facing the outside of the module, because otherwise it will not lock in. You can use needle nose to help. Get it to where you want it to go, and then you want to push it in until you hear a click. Then you know it's locked in. All right, so the original placement of the red wire was on E2. It doesn't label it here on the back of the fuse box, but since everything is A, B, C, D, this first row is E, the second row is F. So we moved it from E2 and we moved it over to F1. So now that we've moved it, we need to put all the locks back on. So putting the locks back in is easier than taking them out. You just want to line it up and then make sure the thing will go down. Make sure all the holes line up, because otherwise it will snap. It's very flimsy plastic. Flip it over. Same thing, line up the holes. Lock it in, and it is locked back in place. Then we want to put the housing back on. It's as simple as lining up these 4 latches. And then making sure they click back into place. And now we have to put these modules back into the fuse box. They don't have to be in there perfectly because the screw will pull them back to where they need to be. All right, now we just top one, and these modules are now firm in place. And now all that's left is to move. We're going to be moving this 50 amp fuse over to this 30 amp fuse. Using needle nose pliers, we're going to carefully pull that one out and then place it next to the pink 30. Now that that's done, you can close up the fuse box. Make sure it's nice and tight and it won't come loose. We can put this back to where it was and put the screws back on. You don't have to tighten it all the way, just enough to hold it as you put in the bottom ones. These ones are harder to line up. You don't have a whole lot of space. A couple of clicks. Be careful not to over tighten, otherwise it will crack. And that's all there is.